John Deere 6.8 liter PowerTech manual fuel system. So these two engines just come back from one of our shops, and I wanted to just kind of cover a little bit of them, what we're doing, how we're doing it. So these start as complete engines, but there's so many options as a complete engine that we've just found it easier on these older engines to just take everything off of it and sell it as a sealed long block. Valve cover the oil pan. We sell a lot for construction also. That's always different. So the way we sell them now, at this stage, the only thing that typically can be different is the rear cover, where you check and fill your oil. Your oil pan can be different, and your front mounts. Obviously, your pulleys can always be different. Your water in, water out can be different. And your oil cooler setup can be different, but the cooler itself is still the same on all of them. So by selling it with the injectors, the water pump, the oil cooler, everything's sealed up, that has taken, if you had a bad fuel system, the injectors are gonna prevent it from washing down a cylinder wall. So there's a whole write-up on these, and I'm not going to go over that in this video, but basically these engines start with being tested from compression test. We do a cylinder leak down test. Then if it passes, this engine here passed those, then going to inspect the front gear train, inspect the camshaft, water pump, everything on the front gets inspected. Then you're going to pull the oil pan, and from there we're going to spot check main bearings and also scope up into the engine for the hash marks. This in here was excellent on the hash marks. It's probably been overhauled recently, and everything was good. So this engine here needs nothing except your fuel system and your exhaust system to go to work. This one here failed the compression test. It failed the cylinder leak down test. So it got liner kits, piston and liner kits put in it. That's really the only difference in this engine and that one. So there was more labor in this one. There was more cost just because of pistons and liners. And it did get a new valve guides and new seats, but basically the engine's the same. I mean, it's not, they don't paint, we don't require it. We have seen too many of these botched, customer bought one somewhere and found out he just bought an old engine that was painted up, called it whatever. We just don't want to do that. Is the presentation less appealing? Yes, it is, but it's honest. It's open. This tractor had fire, which did make the pistons and liners bad, so that's not a deal. But so they're both certified engines. They're not remanned. We could maybe use the word rebuilt on this one because we repaired what was bad, which was the liners, pistons and liners. We replaced the water pump because it was bad. So that's how we're testing these specific engines. We don't list all of these we don't have 20 engines listed on our website. We have one master listing. But this is something that if you're a qualified buyer and you're serious and you want to see those pieces, be glad to share some with you and get you fixed up on these.